Churches are some of the wealthiest organizations in the world. They take in millions of dollars tax-free in order to help out their community. And while some small really do some communities good, there are other organizations with a dark and terrible past. It would seem that greed, power, and religion wouldn't mix, when, in fact, the Vatican is just the opposite. They are the biggest financial power on Earth. A lot of you might already know that the Catholic Church is the biggest corporation in the United States. It has a branch of office in every neighborhood. Their assets and real estate holdings exceed those of Standard Oil, AT&T, and US Steel combined. Its roster of dues-paying members is second only to the tax rolls of the United States government. A member of the New York Conference was quoted as saying that his church ranks only second to the United States government in total annual income. Wow. The financial position of the United States includes assets of at least $269.6 trillion and debts of $145.8 trillion to produce a net worth of at least $123.8 trillion. Trying to find this information on the church is nearly impossible. But there are some things we do know. Once all its assets had been put together, is the most formidable stockbroker in the world. The Vatican's treasure of solid gold has been estimated by the United Nations World Magazine to amount to billions, along with the facts that it's the biggest financial power, wealth accumulator, and property owner in existence. It is a greater possessor of material riches larger than any other single institution, corporation, bank, giant trust, corporation, or state in the world, and owns the largest store of the world's most priceless art. The Pope, as the visible ruler of this immense amassment of wealth, is consequently the richest individual alive. The Vatican has large investments with the Rothschilds of Britain, France, and America, with the Hambros Bank, and with the Credit Suisse in London and Zurich.
Alright, that's sort of interesting that they have connections with the Rothschilds and the bankers in Zurich, which also is connected with the elite. I've done videos covering that as well. So you have basically the biggest corporation on earth just underneath the United States government for the amount of money that they have. And of course they have the most real estate apparently in the world. And we're going to get into some more interesting stuff here, far more interesting. It has a little bit to do with Germany and World War II. A little bit of help there as well. And it kind of ties into a previous video I did on the House of Windsor, which is the royal family over England, which happens to not be English, but they're German as well. Very interesting connection there. Let's just check out a little bit more here, all right?
In the United States, it has large investments with J.P. Morgan, Chase Manhattan Bank, First National Bank of New York, Bankers Trust Company, and others. The Vatican has billions of shares in the most powerful international corporations such as Gulf Oil, Shell, General Motors, Bethlehem Steel, General Electric, International Business Machines, or IBM, TWA, which I'm not sure what that one stands for, etc. The Vatican Bank manages $64 billion in assets on behalf of its 33,400 customers.
All right, so basically we have Standard Oil, which is also part of the elite. We have General Electric, yet another that was sort of the old school elite companies. So they have billions of shares. They also have a connection with IBM, who happen to number certain prisoners in Germany during World War II. Let's check out a little bit more here, all right?
According to a December 5th, 2014 article in International Business Times, or IBT, it owns $764 million in equity and keeps gold reserves worth over $20 million with the U.S. Federal Reserve. According to a May 29, 2015 article in Reuters, for the fiscal year 2014, The Vatican Bank reported about $76 million in net profit, more than 20 times the $3.16 million reported for the previous year. So why don't they want you to know? Well, because if their people knew how much money they had, they'd be reluctant to give or donate to an organization that has so much wealth and power that it would make King Solomon blush. The Vatican Bank hid and see gold. According to a
Alright, so this one, it goes into how they actually hid gold for Germany. It's just really strange. They also moved money, a lot of money, hundreds of millions actually, to Argentina for certain people that were escaping during the World War II. Maybe you can think of a couple. We just had some QAnon documents that came out and said that they actually confirmed this is where a certain leader of Germany in World War II went, as well as Argentina, and that he confirmed that he lived the rest of his days there with all this money that was transferred there by the Vatican. I find that to be very interesting, don't you?
Good work, the Vatican, if that's your real name. In 2000, a lawsuit was brought against the Vatican over this issue, but the suit ultimately failed. To this day, the Vatican's archives, which are likely the only source that could directly tie the Vatican Bank with Nazi gold, have remained sealed. And
Alright, so you get obviously the idea of what's going on here. And, you know, this also ties in with the Queen of England. I find it very interesting because you don't see a lot of channels cover this. A lot of other channels in my realm, they don't talk about stuff like this because they're too busy talking about a certain other group who was actually persecuted in Germany and say that they control everything. But it's kind of interesting how the ones that do control everything, they happen to have a lot of ties to this stuff. I don't know how do you explain that one? I don't know. But clearly something's amiss. Maybe they're playing both sides. I don't know what's going on. I just find it very interesting that you can find all these connections if you really look for them. And it doesn't seem like a lot of channels want to cover this. I don't know why. It's right there to see. And I'm going to include some more information here about the Queen of England and the House of Windsor.
The couple set their wedding date for April 29, 2011. Coincident?
Okay, so this is actually for Prince William. Now check this out. The date matches something very interesting.
Coincidentally, it was the exact same day as Hitler's wedding day, and it marked the 66th anniversary of Hitler's marriage to Eva Braun.
And to watch U.S. television fawning, Fox, CNN, CBS, all of them. Oh, it's so wonderful. No one in America can wait until next week, the way they're hyping it.
Yes, everything was perfectly perfect until the balcony kiss that royal wedding watchers waited for breathlessly. That magical moment was stolen by a 3-year-old flower girl whose sour expression cast a giant shadow over the royal kiss. The flower girl is the daughter of Lady Rose Astor, and she is also Prince William's goddaughter. Kate finally bent down and whispered something like, "Put on a happy face and get used to it. You're ruining everything." Why is the pouting flower girl important enough to be named Prince William's goddaughter? Because she's an Astor. Fritz Springmeier identifies the Astors as one of the 13 satanic bloodlines who made billions from opium slave trading and loan sharking. His book gives reference documentation of their criminal history. Many within these unsavory power circles were on the wedding guest list, like James Rothschild of the Rothschild-Bankster dynasty. James Rothschild brought along his passed-around girlfriend, Astrid Harbord, who, according to the tabloids, had previously shagged Prince Harry. Also on the guest list was Gary Goldsmith, Kate's uncle. The tabloids report that Uncle Gary is a filthy rich, cocaine-snorting, pill-popping, foul-mouthed Randy. Here's Kate's uncle at the wedding, popping pills with his female. Uncle Gary Goldsmith is the younger brother of Kate's mother, Carol Goldsmith. Kate's Uncle Gary was filmed covertly by undercover reporters for the UK's News of the World at his sprawling $10 million villa on the Spanish party island of Ibiza. He named his villa Maison de Bang Bang. Guarded by MI6 agents, Prince William and his bride-to-be holidayed, partied, and yachted at Uncle Gary Goldsmith's House of Bang Bang in 2006. The undercover reporters reported that Kate's Uncle Gary entertains his guests with hardcore porn on a massive 52-inch screen. He supplies pot, ecstasy, and door-to-door delivery. Does anyone really believe that William and Kate just held hands and sipped tea on their Bang Bang holiday? Dress party in 2006. The news was a reminder of the royal family's links to the party, which they've tried so hard to cover up.
All right, so that's what I was trying to get to there. So basically, we have a connection with a certain leader of World War II in Germany over and over, and actually even Merkel herself, Angela Merkel, who's the leader right now. They also have a potential link with her as well, back to this infamous leader of World War II in Germany. Not going to say his name for certain reasons because of YouTube. So, you know, I find it to be very interesting, all these connections that are very easy to make, but no one ever talks about this, it seems, in this community. They're always too busy talking about another group of people. I kind of wonder why that's the case. Just makes me kind of scratch my head, although maybe this is all connected. Maybe both sides are connected and they're just fooling us. Maybe that's the whole point. It's just it's sort of a mockery of us little little servants on the bottom of their feet, I guess you would say. They look at us like we're pond scum, you know what I mean? And maybe they think we're not smart enough to see all this stuff. But I can see it. Can you see it? Thanks for watching.